Well, good evening. I'm LaShawn Ford.
I'm Malika Gardner.
And this is our inaugural show on CAN TV. I want to thank CAN TV for having access. You know, it's been a long time since I've hosted on here, and I'm very happy that this public access is available today.
Yes.
We're going to be doing shows here every Friday.
Every Friday at 5:30, we will be tackling what is going on in Chicago,
Housing and healing in the housing market. The housing market is tough. I mean, we know in the black community, black people have struggled with property tax, redlining, deeds, you name it. There's been lots of problems. And we know that there's always a way to divide communities when you talk about housing, taking away their wealth.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I remember when I got my real estate license, the first thing they taught us day one was that Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in the country.
Yeah, and it's painful, you know, and so this show is about healing Chicago. And so today we're going to have a show that as we go out in the community, we meet people that need healing and that want their voices heard. Well, today we have some guests that's going to come on with us today to talk about someone that had passed in their family from a police shooting. And it is a young man named Turrell Brown. You saw the video.
Oh, God. When you showed me that video, I'm still feeling it right now. I'm still feeling it.
Well, you know what? The family came to us about this and they want their voices heard. One of the best things that we could do, or I could do as an elected official, is to let people have a place to talk. We need to listen to people. They should not have to protest for justice, and I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't have to protest for justice.
Thank you. Thank you. And the protesting, I mean, we've been protesting for how many years now? Decades now. And you still have cases where a young black man whose life was just blossoming can be murdered by
a police
officer.
And we're going to show the video today, but what I want to also say is it's so unfortunate that the law enforcement, the police came sort of in peace, but it ended in death. And that's unfortunate because they came and they were at peace, but for some reason they lost control. And you'll see that today. We're going to show a clip from ABC 7, and it's going to show how Turrell Brown lost his life. And you know, here's the other disturbing thing. This family has received no support from the city for mental health. How are they to heal?
I, for the life of me, I do not understand how the city of Chicago doesn't provide that kind of service with all the violence that we have going on in Chicago, that there aren't any mental, emotional services for families like Turrell Brown's family, many of our families out there. The black community, we go through so much with violence and the trauma, and we're expected to just accept it as normal.
Yeah, it's normal, and you know,
keep going. Keep going on with your life.
So today we're going to have the mom of Turrell Brown. We're going to have his older brother, his baby brother or his younger brother, and his sister, and his nephew here to give a call. What they're calling for, they say that they believe that the police should be fired now. And they want them prosecuted. Or they're two. They want both fired and prosecuted because right now they're saying that the cops are now patrolling the street. And Turrell Brown actually died just September 19th. And so he's already out. So
how is that possible that a white man can just
he wasn't white.
I mean police officer, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Police officer can just, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But a police officer can just shoot and kill someone who wasn't aggressive, who wasn't doing anything wrong, and still be able to go home to their families and go to work the next day.
Not only go home to their families, but be right out there patrolling the streets. We need to make sure that we support the police department, but the police department has to support us. We need healthy police. We need healthy police on the Chicago Police Department.
And you brought up a good point at the press conference. You said, should that police officer be out on the street because they have to be going through something emotional, and mental as well? So should they be back out to work after taking a young man's life who didn't do anything?
I can't imagine him feeling healthy right now.
Right.
He shot someone, he took someone's life, and the fact that he did that, he has to be experiencing something. But we're going to bring on the mother of Turrell Brown. Here's a picture of Turrell Brown, and we're going to bring on the mother of Turrell Brown, and we're going to show this video while she's arriving about how this happened. And you're going to find it pretty alarming that the mother of Turrell Brown has to go through something and watch this. And she has a demand. She really wants to, take it all the way off. She really wants to send a message to Chicago. Here's the video of the incident of Turrell Brown's mother, Turrell Brown's death. And so while we're getting that video, I just want to ask you, when you see this video, you're going to be able to handle it.
I'm going to do the best I can.
Okay.
With the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, COPA, releasing this video late this afternoon. The brief encounter ended with Brown being shot and killed. In body camera video, moments before the shooting, officers scream at him to drop a knife. I'm warning, this video is disturbing, and we will stop the video before the shooting. It's a Sunday morning last month on the 6500 block of South Harvard Avenue. Chicago police are responding to a domestic disturbance call, and officers have a calm discussion with this woman in the apartment. One of the officers checks an adjoining room, apparently looking for Turrell Brown. Their body-worn cameras recording as the officers back out of that room and draw their weapons. Here, Brown comes into view of the cameras.
Put it down, dude! Put that knife down! Put it down! You got an armed man with a knife in the apartment here.
Go away.
Put it down, my guy. Put it down! Put the knife down! Put it down! Put it down!
Several rounds of police gunfire follow those orders to drop the knife. According to police paperwork, also released with this video today, officers state Brown didn't follow verbal direction, was armed with a knife, that there was an imminent threat of battery with a weapon, and the weapon was used in an attempt to attack police. When asked in the tactical report filled out by officers whether Brown committed an assault or battery against police, the officers answered yes. Last month, Brown's family spoke with ABC7 questioning CPD's use of deadly force. No conclusions tonight from COPA, just this video release. The officers involved were put on routine 30-day desk duty but are now back on full status, according to Chicago police.
Well, I don't want to start the conversation off. You should speak.
Every road has its challenges. We say
There was no justice for my son, Turrell Brown. My son was murdered. I want to seek justice. My family, we want to seek justice. We want the officer, Brandon Rambert, to be prosecuted. I want him to go to jail because what he did, he didn't serve my son. He didn't give my son no service, or he didn't protect my son. My son lost his life only because the situation was not handled properly. And it tears me up. It hurts me. I can't even watch the video. I can't watch the video of my son being murdered.
Have you received any calls or support from the city of Chicago or any nonprofit in the neighborhood to provide you with mental health support for your family?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard from the city, the police department, no one. They're saying it's a homicide, it's under investigation. And COPA, the only one I can speak with, but they have not offered any support. And knowing that my family, we need it.
Well, you definitely shouldn't have to protest for justice. You should be heard. And so Chicago Hill, we definitely, F.D.R. Community Housing Foundation, wanted to offer you an opportunity to call for justice for your son without having to stand out on the street protesting. So we're sorry for your loss. I think that your daughter is going to come in, and she has something to say. You have your daughter, your two sons, and your grandson.
Yes,
all right.
yes.
So all of you are suffering from the loss of your loved ones.
Yes, we are.
So we are here to allow them to have a voice. So who's coming in now?
My daughter, Kaleah.
And so Kaleah's coming in now.
And I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Kaleah is going to tell us about her brother, and you have your son here.
Okay.
Your son. And so I'm very happy that you all are here. Could you tell me about your brother? What do you want to say about your brother?
Well, he was the
You could take off the mask.
last. He was the baby brother. He was the youngest of the 4 siblings. I mean, he was a good person. He had a good heart. I am just heartbroken and distraught that this happened to him. This happened to him when it didn't need to. He was not posing as a threat. He wasn't outraged. He wasn't acting, belligerent or anything like that.
What do you want the public to know?
I want justice for my brother. I want the shooting officer, Brandon Rambert. I want him to be fired. Being that that's what he did, there's no way he should be still a police officer patrolling the streets of Chicago. We deal with a lot of violence, and that let me know in that short amount of time that he didn't think twice to even want to question nor have a conversation or talk to him.
Have you received any support from the city or anywhere to offer mental health support?
No.
And you have to be going through some trauma at this time.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
And we'll do what we can to see how we could get some help and support for you. Who else do you have here today?
This is my son, Kaleah. This is Turrell Brown's nephew.
Okay. And how old are you, Kaleah? 8?
You want to take your mask?
8 years old?
8 years old. Mm-hmm.
You're kind of cute there. Or should I say handsome?
Handsome.
All right. Sorry about your loss. Your uncle. You got to do good things for your uncle, okay? All right. Thanks for coming in. And who you going to invite in next?
Next, I believe I'm going to bring in my older brother, Joseph Brown.
Joseph Brown. Okay,
Yes.
Joseph Brown is coming in. Please invite him in.
Okay.
And sorry about your loss, and we look forward to supporting you on the move forward.
Okay, thank you so much.
And so, as you see, we've had the mom cry for help, asking for the firing of the officer that shot their loved one, and they want them also prosecuted. Now with us we have Joseph. Is that right, Joseph?
Yeah.
And you're the oldest brother.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you what to say. This is your opportunity to speak to the people.
Yeah, I just want to say my brother, he just had a birthday that week. His birthday was the 13th. Me and him were supposed to celebrate his birthday that weekend. But unfortunately that happened. And then he just graduated welding school too. He couldn't even go to his own graduation. It's just messed up.
You shouldn't have to protest to get justice. You should have a venue where you could ask for justice. And what's the justice you're looking for?
Accountability for this officer to be either fired or disciplined. Like you said earlier, he has to be going through something as well to take someone's life and then back on the streets, trying to protect and serve other civilians. He should need counseling as well.
Yeah. So I've talked to your mother, your sister, and your nephew. Have you gotten any calls for any mental health support or any type of support since this trauma has happened to your family?
No, we haven't. No, I haven't. It's been real tough though. No help from the city, no calls, nothing.
We're going to do what we can to see how we could get your family some support. You also have someone else here, your brother, as well.
Yes.
But before we invite your brother in to talk about Turrell Brown, is there anything else you want the city to know, the people in Chicago to know? Because I know you are very community-oriented and you do lots of things in the community. Is there any message you want to give?
Yes, support, and support. Not just downtown and up north, but out west and out south as well. They need city funds just as all up north and downtown as well. Out south and out west need the same funds for mental health to help the peoples of poverty as well.
Thank you. And you're going to invite your brother in?
Yeah.
And his name is?
Lebryant Brown.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now we've heard from the mother of Turrell Brown that was killed by Chicago police. We heard from his sister and his oldest brother. And I think we're going to hear from Lebryant, which is his baby brother. You're the baby brother?
Terrell's the baby brother.
Terrell
I
was
was the second
baby
youngest.
brother. So you have an opportunity, as we said, you shouldn't have to protest to be heard. You shouldn't have to protest to have people listen to you. I'm sorry about your loss.
Thank you.
Is there something you want to say?
That I hope that the police is the police officer Brandon Rambert. He's worst case that he's fired. Me personally, I really want him to go to jail because I felt that it was no reason to murder my brother. That's what I think it was. I think it was a murder. I felt there was no reason to shoot and kill my brother. He could have used a taser, in my opinion. If that situation didn't cause for a taser, then what situation would cause for a taser? And then also too, if I want something else to come from that, he should lose his job because I know he got to be going through some type of psychological thing going on now that he just killed someone, and you don't want him patrolling the streets and interacting with other civilians because he can have his own flashbacks or something. He can harm someone else or even harm himself.
Do you think the officer came to the apartment to kill your brother?
I believe he came to the apartment and he didn't come with the right mindset. I don't believe he should have been a police officer. I don't believe his training was correct. I don't want to necessarily say he came to the apartment to kill my brother, but I believe he came to the apartment to like show force. Like he just wanted. I'm from the hood, and a lot of police officers that patrol the areas on the south side and the west side they're very bad police officers. I got punched, I got beat up by a police officer. My younger brother got hog-tied, butt naked in the police precinct on Flournoy and Kersey, and they beat him up. He had a swollen head while he was in the county and
Take your mask down.
And he had a swollen head while he was in the county, while he was not the county, but the police station on Flournoy and Kersey. And so I don't think the police went there to kill my brother, but I really went there to show force, like to show that he's the man because he's a police officer. Mm-hmm. Now, he probably got bullied as a kid.
Yeah. Do you believe that there are good cops?
I believe that there is some good cops, but most of the police that I interact with, that they are horrible cops.
Do you think we need cops in Chicago?
Yes, we do need cops, and it's another thing that people say. It is. I believe it is some good cops, but it also got to be some bad cops. It's some bad people, and if you're a doctor, some bad people, and some good doctors.
Yes.
And and no matter what profession you go to, but the good cops need to step up, and if they see bad cops doing bad, they need to step up and put them bad seeds out because to me it makes all the police as a whole look bad.
So what are you going to do for your brother's legacy? How are you going to make sure that your brother's life is not in vain? What's your family's plan?
I'm willing to go as far as it takes. If I have to protest, if I have to march from here to Washington, I'm ready to do whatever it takes so my brother can seek justice. Because I feel that nobody should be able to kill him. Nobody should be able to die in this world, get killed, and not get justice for what happened to them because they did not get justice. So I'm ready to really do whatever it takes. I just hope whatever it takes, I'm ready to do.
Well, don't let your brother's life be in vain. His life could live on through the works that your family is doing to make sure that his voice is not killed with his life. Let me ask you one final question. Has the city reached out to you for any support?
No, they have not.
And I know that this has to be something that causes you to lose sleep at night. You never experienced anything like this, so it's difficult to deal with. So I'm sorry about your loss, and we look forward to working with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And that's the family of Turrell Brown, and we're going to take calls right now to send a message to the Turrell Brown family. Feel free to call in right now and send a message. They're listening, they're watching. You could call 312-738-1060. This is Chicago Hill F.D.R. Community Housing Foundation. I'm LaShawn Ford and
Malika Gardner.
So Malika, you saw the family. What do you think? What should the city be doing right now?
And they should definitely be providing some mental, emotional health services. especially for the little one. He's lost his uncle. And they really need to get that police officer off the streets.
I think the family says it right. How could he possibly be fit to serve and protect? I mean, he actually should be. I mean, if he killed someone, anyone that kills someone actually probably is traumatized. I mean, is that a good thing to do? To have a person, right? 312-738-1060. So this show will be about healing Chicago as it relates to all sorts of things, but especially with housing. In the housing market, even in Evanston, you're from Evanston. What do you know about that Evanston housing market? I think you guys got something called reparations.
Do we really want to talk about Evanston reparations? I don't think we want to talk about Evanston reparations.
I mean, that's a big national story. You guys actually implemented reparations in Evanston. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you had blockbusting in Chicago and across the country. In every community, you had blockbusting. Black people in black communities paid more in property taxes. They were redlined. I mean, you name it. When it comes to an investment like housing, black people were cut out and they were put in worse situations. What happened in Evanston?
There was redlining in Evanston proven between 1919 to 1969. I believe I got those years right. And so they said that's documented, that there was redlining. And I mean, they so much as took the homes on the lakefront, because they were owned by black families, and literally picked them up physically and moved them to the Fifth Ward, away from the water. So now you have nothing but mansions and, on the lakefront. So it was quite a bit of injustice in housing, and still is today in Evanston.
When you think about housing and the way cities and municipalities keep the communities, litter, boarded up buildings, vacant lots, open space, whatever you want to call it. And kids have to walk past that to go to school. I mean, how healthy is that for a person to live in a community where, not only do you have vacant and abandoned buildings, vacant lots, trash, that's not healthy.
That is not healthy at all. And actually, I was just speaking to some city officials in Evanston, and that we can provide more housing if it's a lot of unused land out there. Evanston, Chicago, they could be building all sorts of housing on those vacant lands, on the one-level businesses. You could take that business and then build units on top of that to provide more housing. For the population.
And I think that you have to know that it really impacts a person's mental health. When I go into certain parts of, the United States or wherever I go, if you have communities, the most healthiest communities are communities that have lots of green trees and grass and but you don't see that
Didn't they
too
used to
much.
call us the concrete jungle?
I was going to ask you about
Chicago
that.
and New York.
New York is the concrete jungle.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wonder if people recognize that this is the concrete jungle because, you don't have that greenery. I think it makes a big, big difference in people's lives.
Yes, it really does. You need that open air space. You need to look at homes that are taken care of, and all sorts of things happen in boarded up, abandoned buildings too.
Yeah, kids have to walk past them, go to school, women, and men, and people, yes, like you said, things happen in those buildings. And this show is about making sure that we heal our communities.
Yes.
Because it is critical that we heal the communities that we live in. And we're going to be taking calls on this show on Fridays. And so get ready. We're going to have some great shows, and you're going to be able to call in and watch and communicate with us and
get some things off your chest.
You think people got something on their mind?
Oh my God! Yes. Yes.
You think people got things on their mind that they need to heal from. Well, I tell you, I remember the 2008 housing crisis. It started in 2007. I saw it coming, and I don't think the black community has rebounded, has healed from that. I mean, still haven't healed from it.
Even on the other side of it, I knew people who were on the mortgage side of it, the appraisal side, and I mean, they were seriously, like businesses just.
Yeah. So all right. So we're talking about the people that were in as professionals and investors. So you got investors and professionals that are still suffering from that 2008 housing crisis, and we know real estate is one of those investments that really uplifted minorities out of poverty, and so that sort of reset everyone that had that investment in real estate, and that's unfair because we really didn't do anything to help those people, those families, those investors to rebound,
to recover.
So they're still hurt from the housing crisis, while some of the big banks, they were healed, they were made whole, they were given reparations.
Yeah, and that takes me to Evanston reparations. The reason why so many people were against Evanston reparations is because the money for the reparations doesn't go to the residents, it goes to the banks that actually caused the harm in the first place. That is the issue with Evanston reparations. The redlining, they caused the redlining, so now you're going to give them our reparations.
Oh, they get the reparations. And so reparations, and how does it? What is it? $25,000
up to $25,000
to do what with the money?
You can get a bank loan. Which, how do you put a bank loan and reparations in the same sentence? I don't know.
So you could get pre-qualified to make a purchase of a house.
Yes, and the money goes straight to the bank.
A down payment.
As a down,
it's used as a down
which payment. Is in Evanston, $25,000 is not a down payment on a house. Not at all.
And so that was how much is that pot of money? Was it $5 million, $10 million?
Well, the commitment is $10 million.
Right.
So this first pot is supposed to be $400,000, but we have no way of knowing how much is in the pot because they said they can't tell us.
Yeah, and this was all about the money is coming from cannabis. Because the war on drugs, many communities have been ravished by the war on drugs. So Evanston said, we're going to take the money from our cannabis and use it
towards reparations,
cannabis revenue,
which was a great idea.
Which was a great idea. Before we head out of here, we need to talk more about Turrell Brown. So one more time, we'll look at Turrell Brown, and then we will close out. So this is Turrell Brown. This is a man. This is a man that a family is hurting.
A young man.
We need to pull together to support his family.
Yes.
To support families that have been killed by police, law enforcement, that's been killed by black on black crime. I mean, enough is enough. People are hurting in this city.
Well, I'll say this, Rep. Ford. I know that you are one of the few leaders. I mean, we do have some leaders out there who are a force to try to fight this, but I mean, you're on the task force to end this sort of violence. So I just wish all leaders had that compassion, that heart, and that consciousness to prevent another Turrell Brown from occurring in our city.
So I'd like to give my condolences to the entire Turrell Brown family. We know that we had the mother, the sister, and the two brothers and the nephew in, but Turrell Brown was loved by many people.
Right.
Not just loved by those four people. And they have to live with the loss of Turrell Brown every day. And the way he died makes it even worse. A young man, very young, wasn't even 30 years old. And that's so unfortunate. And so today's show, we dedicate it to Turrell Brown and his family. And we're going to ask the community to reach out to us so that we can provide some type of support for this family.
Yes.
So any final words?
You all just stay tuned here on Chicago Heal. We want to hear from you. We are here to help heal the community. Let's heal together.
Yeah, and remember, you shouldn't have to protest to be heard. You should be listened to as citizens, as taxpayers in this city and this state. And we want to make sure you have a platform right here on Chicago Hill, on CAN TV. Once again, I'm very proud to be on this show. And thank you, CAN TV, for giving us this opportunity. See you next week at 5:30.